Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. Nigerians have been groaning, Nigerians have been crying, a lot of hunger in the land, and at the beginning, this present dispensation has promised Nigerians positive change, or rather promised Nigerians change. Nigerians voted in change, hoping that they would get a positive change. At some points, the government of the day blamed the previous dispensation of that the issues that are facing right now on ground is because of the level of corruption and theft that went on, or fraud that went on in that dispensation. Hence, they're not getting exactly what they are looking for. Well, right now it has changed. They've changed the whole tunes actually, and now the blame is now on Nigerians for what is going on. In fact, they totally blame Nigerians for the nation's problem. Wow. But before we go into the news proper and for the analysis, we'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as you update our channel on YouTube. You probably may be wondering, how come they are now switching tones and blaming Nigerians for Nigeria problem? Well, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, architect Olamilekan Adegbite, has blamed Nigerians' strong appetite for foreign products as responsible for low production and economic downturn. He also blamed overpopulation for the growing poverty in the country. Adegbite spoke in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State at town hall meeting with the youth as part of the fallout of the #EndSARS protest. He noted that Nigerians' unquenchable thirst for foreign products leads to little or no patronage of the locally made goods, thereby killing indigenous industries. The minister also worried that churches and mosques are growing at the detriment of the economy. Saying we should all be blamed for the country's woes, as in every Nigerian is actually to be blamed. Let's continue. He said all the textile industries in the country have collapsed because there is no raw material from cotton production again. Our industrial estates are all gone. Churches and mosques are growing, but all our industries are collapsing. Churches and mosques that don't pay taxes and that don't employ anybody are replacing our industries. We are all to be blamed for this. We no longer patronize things locally made in Nigeria. Our appetite for foreign goods have destroyed our economy. We must all go back home and face reality. Our food production has drastically decreased as our population is growing at a high rate. He noted that President Buhari is reviving the agricultural sector and urged Nigerians to support the administration towards diversification of the economy through agriculture. When there is no production, the country will not develop. Youth should begin to move away from white-collar jobs and venture into agriculture without security. Okay, let's continue. But very quickly, I will take some points he made. Of course, to a great extent, the reason why we voted people in, or why we vote leaders in, is to navigate the country's economy, right? Good. So if you had promised Nigerians that you have what it takes to navigate the economy, then you are the number one citizen, or that the administration will believe in the administration to make a change. Now, you talked about locally made goods. Let's start with the insecurity. Until there's security, a vast number of persons want to go into agriculture. Even the white-collar jobs they're talking about, there is not even available. There are no available white-collar jobs. The ones that are available is actually pinned down for the ogas at the top's children and the people who knows the ogas at the top. So some of us who don't know ogas at the top, at the end of the day, we don't get good jobs. So, hey, the white-collar job is even selective. So a whole lot of youth and a whole lot of graduates wants to go back to the farm, at least to have what we call a stable meal, 3 square meal at least, and probably move from subsistence farming to integrated farming or commercial level of farming, so that they can sell. I mean, in fact, Nigeria in itself is a market, a big market for its own people. So you can imagine a graduate going into commercial farming. He's going to make so much money because even the market itself is big enough for him. But the challenge is there's no security. Can you imagine in some parts of the north where farmers are made to pay taxes to bandits so that they can cultivate what they planted. You can imagine. So what was the essence of paying tax? One of the cardinal rules of being a government official or a leader is to protect both lives and property. So if you have not protected lives, you have not protected property, then why are the indigenous paying tax? Why are citizens paying tax? The country has, the government of the day have not done that part of their rules of engagement. So you wouldn't blame anyone for not going into agriculture. Don't forget, in some parts of the world, UK, Europe, are tilting towards stopping the issue of fuel for their vehicles. They're looking at them having electricity and other form of energy to power their vehicles, which means by default we're going to lose a lot of customers, those patronizing oil and gas from Nigeria. Countries are diversified. Even Dubai, United Arab Emirates, they are actually oil producers, but they depend very little, minimal, on their oil production. They are actually dependent strongly on the tourism and other sector of the economy. When you go to Dubai, you feel good, you feel lovely, because their leaders are at the think tank. They're wearing their thinking cap. They're thinking on how to improve the economy every day. While us, we're still looking at 1942, borrowing and reborrowing. The ones we are borrowed, we are investing it on things that are not even economical to the man, to the average Nigerian out there. You are telling Nigerians that they should go into, they started moving into churches because they felt maybe God will help us, because they've tried. They've tried in their own physical way. They can't. There are no companies. You are saying that there are no cottons to produce because there are nobody in the farms to plant those cottons, because there's no security. So it still goes back to the state. It still goes back to the leadership. The leadership have also failed Nigerians in their own ways. Call a spade a spade. Now let's go back to the issue of indigenous policy. How many indigenous policy have you done? Okay, you closed borders for the issue of rice, but as we speak, we're thinking of going to import fuel from Niger Republic. That's the same country, the same Nigeria that said, look, let's remove subsidy from fuel so that we can make our refineries work. Up to now, refineries are not working. They are beyond maintenance, I guess. And we are thinking of importing fuel from Niger. So why did we remove the subsidy? Then why did you close the borders from importing rice, foreign rice, since you want to protect the farmers? Why is it that rice up till now is not available for the common man? Simply because even the rice farmers are not secured. They are scared of bandits. They can't even go to the farm without Fulani herdsmen beating them up or even destroying their property, destroying their farm produce. So what are we saying? It still goes back to the government. Now we talk about indigenous policy and patronizing indigenous goods. Let's tell ourselves the truth. How many leaders, politicians use foreign, locally made goods? Bring it to education. How many leaders, how many of our politicians are their children schooling in Nigeria? 99.9% of them, I guess, are schooling abroad. If their children are schooling in Nigeria, honestly, this ASU strike will never last up to 1 month. It's already stretching towards 8 months, simply because their children are still going to school abroad. Indigenization policy begins with you and I, including the leaders. So bring your children back home. Let them go to school in Nigeria. That way, you will reform the educational sector even better. Come back to indigenous goods. How many of you use Nigerian made, Aba made shoes? You just go there, pay lip service, camera for the show. Then after that, you give it to your cleaner to wear. You use all the latest designer wears from abroad. Go to cars. Let us look at all the politicians. How many of them use Innocent? How many of them use Nigerian made vehicles? How many? When you want to buy vehicles for senators, if you want to bring Innocent, what is Innocent? Give us good what is Innocent? It begins with the leaders. Yes, to some extent we have goofed, because in every street in Nigeria, if you don't see minimum of 3 churches, I'm sure that street is not open yet. Maybe it's in the village. We have become more religious than industrious. It's affecting us a great deal. But Nigerians have decided to submit their problem to God, hoping that God will come down and solve it. Because they're sick. They're almost tired of the whole situation that's facing them every day. Every day is insecurity. Who does investment in an insecure place? Let's call a spade a spade. So, Minister, sir, the reason why we appointed leaders there is to be a think tank, to be a thinking cap, and navigate the country to greater height. Take a case study of Dubai, United Arab Emirates. So if you're blaming the blame on us, that means you're not where you're defining where you're directing the country to. And they appointed you and you're shifting the blame to Nigerians. Oh dear, that's not going to wrap it up, because we can go on and this will not all go well. So that means if the people in the government in terms of affairs feel that they don't have the capacity, then they should allow those who have the capacity to do so that we don't keep staying in dark ages. People have moved on. You can imagine where we're still talking about oil and gas. People are really thinking of electrification because their electricity is constant. We don't even have constant electricity. We are still doing estimated bill at this stage and time where people are already celebrating 24 hours light every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year, every year of the decade. Come on. Let's put in our comment section. Let's interact. What's your take on what this minister is telling us that we are to be blamed?